Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and interesting people. You are interesting people, and now we have to help you get your interesting ideas out into the world. And that's why yesterday I talked about introversion and being an introvert, and I really would encourage you to, hey Stan, help me be a self-promoter, even though I'm, like you, a shy person. And please read the article about introversion, or maybe even look at a summary of the book, or even buy the book by Susan Cain, simply called Quiet, how an introvert will make it in a talking, noisy world. So please go back and listen to that if you didn't, and then take some action on that, if that may be true for you. Well, today, yes, I'm going to tell you about my love-hate relationship with Amazon and what that means. And there will be a little bit of a follow-up, which will, tomorrow, Friday, into Saturday, we've got some new insights into artificial intelligence. I have some resources, and I have some people who have been involved in that for a few years. And I think we can be helpful to you in some ways. Don't believe all the hype and all the hope, and don't necessarily believe all of the frantic fears. Remember, one of the goals of the media is to make you fearful. Hey, now I'm going to talk about, yes, the baseball player who became a girl. That's right. Here we go. The program Interesting Ideas, and that story begins right now. Okay, let's go back to a little town, a small city called Michigan City, Indiana, on the shores of Lake Michigan. And let's go back to the 1950s. That's right. And there was a neighborhood gang that ran around, and we did just that. Got on our bicycles usually after breakfast, and we just went all over. Sometimes we actually had lunch at somebody else's house, but the primary thing was, keep in touch with Mom and, be back sometime late afternoon. And that's what we did. And we had all kinds of things we did. And we played baseball and wiffle ball, and we had variety. Sometimes we played with a softball, sometimes we had a rubber ball, and then in a smaller area we had the proverbial wiffle ball. And we would make up games, choose up teams, and go at it from time to time. Now, one of the best players turned out to be in our little gang was Elaine. And Elaine was about a year, maybe a year and a half older than us, a tall girl. And the case would be, if she was around today at that time, she would have been a real athlete. That's just what she was. And of course, in those days, there were very little opportunities for girls to be involved in athletics at all. And so it turned out that one of the best players on the gang was Elaine. And so she really was. And oftentimes, I think, because she was also really smart, and I think she might have actually went and studied some of the ideas from Stan Musial or Ted Williams, who were the key, baseball sluggers of the time. And because I could see when she was up to bat, she would stare right at you. If you're a pitcher, she learned that she would give a stare right at you. And then she'd hold her bat back. And I swear now, looking back at it, that she had actually studied the way the big hot shots would swing, because she had a wonderful smooth swing to her bat. It was now thinking about it, it was quite graceful. And she was good, very good. And I still remember one time when I put one in there and she was batting and she had a swing and she put that thing within about 2 inches of my ear and startled, but off it went flying, up against the wall, line drive, and she made it all the way to third base. And it was just one of us. Well, a couple of years, after some of that, Elaine really didn't. We'd ask her, we'd go over and say, "No, I don't want to play anymore. I don't want to play." And that's when my friend Danny made the comment that I remember as I think about the world today. And he said, "You know what? I'm afraid Elaine is becoming a girl." Yeah, well, that's what she was. And the fact was that Elaine was gaining other interests. In fact, what she was interested in were other boys older than us and better looking than us. And she began to find her friendships among some of her, girlfriends. No, now, probably the term, that we might have used at one time was that she was a bit of a tomboy, which is kind of the way we described, and it was not a pejorative, it was just a description that, at least in that age and stage, she had some of the characteristics that we usually associated with kind of rough and rugged young boys. Well, as I said, she did become a girl, and went on very happy, successful life, and there it is. And I just remember that story as I think today, and I wonder how that would play out today. And I'm not so sure I know, but I don't know if it would be good or not. Just a story to think about as we deal with some of the thoughts and issues about gender and sexuality and growing up in our world today. I'm Stan Houston. Interesting ideas. But now let's also get to the topic that got your attention. Here we go. Let's get to the subject that may have attracted you. Yeah, a love-hate relationship with Amazon. And is China winning? Well, let me just take a few minutes to tell you some stories of what happened to me and why I do have a love-hate relationship with Amazon. And then something I discovered in that love-hate relationship with Amazon, which gives me some concern. And here we go. First of all, I have to confess, I was very, very much, hey, Amazon did me in. A number of years ago, a group of us, about 3 or 4 of us, invented the idea called an ebook. And it was a very simple. Intuit had just come up with a PDF file. And so we went to Amazon and said, "You have these books for sales." Now remember, Amazon began just as a bookseller. That was it. And in fact, their whole plan was very different than what it became. It's where, they could replace Barnes & Noble. They could replace the various bookstores out there, and you could buy your books online. And there was a very good business plan behind that, because eventually they were going to put the publishers out of business, because they would be the book publishing company, because they would know who had bought what books. So if you, want to read a book about John Grisham had written, well, they had a record of that. They knew who had bought a John Grisham book, and the bookstores did not. And then they were going to go to John Grisham and says, "We'll publish your book, and then we'll be the ones who sell your book, and then We will cut the bookstores and the other people out of the profit. Just you and us will share the profit. That was the idea. And it was a pretty good idea. So we had developed where you could buy an electronic book. And they were short little, maybe 30, 40 page booklets, and you could buy them. And the nice thing was the internet had just begun in some ways, and you could then download it and read the book and print it out yourself online. Well, it was going pretty good, but then all of a sudden Amazon said, no, that's not going to work, and they shut our little company down, and off we went. But then, of course, a few months later, they took the whole idea and put it into Kindle, and of course, you now know the rest of the story. They've made billions and billions of dollars on e-books, electronic books. Well, that's what happened. So, not a good friend of Amazon. However, here's what has happened, and most of you know what has happened. In the last few days, there have been some things that I needed to buy. And I needed them for my happiness. I needed them for a gift. I needed them for my business, Okay. And guess what? I found them on Amazon. And they were very much exactly what I wanted to buy. And guess what? The price was pretty good. And guess what? I could get them in a day. And so what? That's right. The price was good. I didn't have to get in my car and go shopping. They were delivered to me right away. In fact, 2 of them came within 4 hours. Exactly what I wanted. Ordered it about 8 o'clock in the morning. By 11 in the morning, it was on my doorstep. There we go. And a number of you have had that same experience. They have that down. Now, I know all about the stories of people who do this kind of work, and that's why whenever I can, I wish they just drop it. If I could catch them, I would like to give them a tip, but they'd probably get in trouble for doing that. But there it goes. And so the 4 things that I bought came right away. The price was very good, and the product was exactly what I wanted, and there it was. Great experience. So that's why I have problems, I love that kind of deal. However, I hate some of the things that are happening. I hate what it can do to small businesses that don't have those advantages. I try very much in the work I do to honor small businesses. Even when I buy books from Amazon, I try to buy them from a used bookstore rather than buying them new from Amazon. Yes, I do all of those things, but I still buy them from Amazon, and that's the way it works. Love-hate relationship. Am I relating to some of you? Well, I'd love to hear your stories and experiences. StanHouston@gmail.com, StanHouston@gmail.com. But it's one of those decisions we have to make in life in terms of how we live, how we support others, how we do business. It's all in the confusion of different values and things that are important to us. But there was one other thing that hit me, and I'll share that because this is important for us to consider. I'm Stan Houston. The program is Interesting Ideas. Again, you are part of the conversation, but now we're going to talk a little bit about China. China. All right. We'll be right back. Okay, you can figure out where I'm going on these things. All right. Not only were those 4 things that I bought, from Amazon, but it turns out that the bookcase and the video player, which I needed, what else? Guess what? All made in China. That's right. Now, they don't advertise that. Obviously, some cases they admit it. I'm trying as very much as I can to support manufacturing in other places, in particular in places that perhaps don't have the advantages that they do. And of course, being an American, there's just like any other nationality, we like to support the businesses and the people who live and work, in our own country, our own nation, our own tribe. That's just part of who we are. But it was important to see, and let me put something else on it. They were very well made, extremely so. It was put together nicely. Even the one that I had to put together, which you've all gone through, fit perfectly. Once I was careful enough to read the instructions, all of that happened. All 4 things made in China, and all 4 things well done. Now, of course, that means that the people in the governing of China, we know the problems there. Obviously, it's an authoritarian regime. Obviously, slave labor may have a part of all this. Yes, all of the things that go into this world emerging power, and some would say they are not world emerging. They are certainly one of the powers in the world, and seeking to be more powerful. And as one person said to me, are they winning? Are they winning? They certainly are not a Christian, Western civilization nation. They come from even though they may not live up to the equality part, they are what they call, the Chinese Communist Party is the dominant party in China. And they are an authoritarian regime. And of course, they may have been responsible for the Wuhan lab leak and the cover-up of that and the work that was going into that, which caused this most recent pandemic in which millions of people died. Are they winning? Well, by the way, as we will talk about in artificial intelligence, they plan to win the AI game. They do. And they might be. So as we're living our lives, as we're doing business, as we're even making decisions about what to buy, there is and there will be the China factor in our life. More than an interesting, certainly a challenging. I would love to carry on the conversation with you. A couple things. First of all, we have created a class. Those of you who are very much in the same business of I am in what I would call religious Christian communication, we are creating a class called How to Be a World-Class Jesus Broadcaster. Yes, how to be a world-class Jesus broadcaster, helping you be on the radio, sharing your faith. We've done that for many, many, many years, and we think we can help you be truly very good at it, world class. And also, we're asking you to help us put together, after some 30 years of business performance coaching, we are creating the coaching experience, in which we will work with you to help you be a world-class business performance coach. And when we use the word world class and all of these things, that is not meant to be the fact that we are bragging. It will say something about our desire for excellence and our ability to think about other people in positive ways, to think about our world and how we can make it a better world. That's part of the definitions we use. So, hey, 20 minutes is up, and I thank you for your time. Reach out to me at stanhusted@gmail.com, stanhusted@gmail.com. All the best and blessings to you and your family, and may you have at least a sense of that there might just be some special miracles coming to you in your life in the next soon future. In the next soon future. Think about it, maybe talk about it, pray for it. Some good miracles that might come to you and your family and your business. Till next time, bye for now.